Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5 in Theory Training. In the last session, we started with introduction of list control. We saw how to create a list control, and by far we have seen creating a list control is really very interesting and easy option. We have seen variety of list item types as part of the list control, and we have designed this particular list. But the problem with this list is it looks very inconsistent. You see, there are different variety of items, be it a display list item, a standard list item, an object list item, input list item, custom list item, and a feed list item. So they all looks different. They doesn't look similar. Due to this, user experience goes for a toss. User doesn't like this. User want a consistency in terms of all the list item so that user interface can look better. Together with that, also the disadvantage, imagine if you have large amount of fruits, how would you manage? If you have very large amount of fruits, how would you be able to do things or display the data over there? Let's imagine you have a file and that file has about 500 fruits. How will you manage that? So that was also an exercise yesterday, and I am happy to announce that only two people have completed that. One of them is Srinivas, who has completed it fastest. Thank you, Srinivas Rao, completing this exercise. I will show guys the file which Srinivas has created, and we will be using his file going ahead as part of the course. Let us go ahead and see what Srinivas has created. Let's go back to WebIDE, and I'm going to import that file into the models folder. So let me create a models folder now, as usual, to now bring in a model and bring in all the items as part of list control using binding. If you have 5,000 fruits, how are you going to get those 5,000 fruits in the list? You have to do binding. There's no other way. Now just create a new folder, mock data, and now inside this we'll create upload, import the file which Srinivas has created. Let me browse it. It's already downloaded to my downloads folder. So I'm just going to go to my downloads folder where Srinivas has already given me a file. I had downloaded that file in my local machine. So I'm just going to go to downloads folder to check it out. So just go to the downloads folder, and now there is a JSON fruit txt file which Srinivas has created. I'm just importing it, and currently it's being given to me as a text file. We're going to change it as a JSON file, but let's quickly validate this file on jsonlint.com. I go back to jsonlint.com, and that's where we place this whole of JSON file. And now just click on validate. You can see, Srinivas, there is an issue in our file. It's giving an error. The error is here. There is a double quote which is missing. I told you to validate JSON file before sending it. And now I see everywhere this is the issue. Okay, just quickly correct that up. There's an extra comma. There is this extra zeros. I don't know where they are coming from. Just gonna remove them. Yeah, I know it's millions, but they should have come inside the double quote. This value should have come inside double quote. Like this, it should have come. There's another issue in the JSON file. And now I see parsing error in 236, line number 236. There's another issue. So these are all the issues which ideally should have fixed it. You should have checked and sent that JSON file. Now here, let's see. This all looks good. There is a comma also. Why it's giving me an error on population thing? Let me copy this, cut it, paste again. Now validate. There is a comma after 677, right? And now it's a valid JSON. So let's bring it on. This JSON, copy that, go back to our web IDE, and now we will paste this. So don't paste the JSON without validating. You will be in a big problem. You will not be able to run this file. And it's important to also have a file name as .json extension. It's .txt. So I'm just changing it. I can say fruits. JSON. So that's our JSON file, which has now the fruits entity set and JavaScript naming convention का क्या हुआ? Fruit f has to be small. Whenever you have something in JavaScript, it should start with small letters. Supplier S must be small. Cities C must be small. If this, that's our JSON, guys, which we can pump in now to the user interface. Now it's time to create the binding. It's very easy. First, let's create the model object. So I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to name it as models.js file. As usual, scaffolding template to begin with, SAP UI define. And now here we're going to write any dependencies. So first dependencies is SAP UI model. Same stuff what we did earlier. I'm repeating that stuff actually. JSON model. You can do a little bit of alignment. And now here we can put JSON model. And this function should return functions. Our first function which we are returning is create fruit model. Now as part of create fruit model, let's create the JSON object. Load the data in this model object. And return the model object out. These are all the steps which we learned already in the past. Let's come back to the view one. Let's check it out. What's the namespace? It's OFT Fury November. That's the namespace for our project. Let's come back to the base controller. है ही नहीं, base controller बनाते हैं. Let's go and create a base controller. And sap.ui.define. And that's going to be our base controller, and I'm going to depend it on SAP UI core MVC controller class return controller is the base class standard extend namespace dot base controller. Let's write down here the functionality which we wish to have as part of base controller. So I will say here initiate models. And in initiate models, we are actually going to initiate our models. So of course, our again the root, the namespace which indicates the root folder, web app folder, and then we are loading a dependency on the model slash mock data, model slash models dot js, and then we will just create here the model object and set it to the application level. Okay, set it to the application. Now guys, there is slight change in case of Fiori. Look at here, very important for all of you to remember. The structure with the Fiori guideline of the app has been changed little bit. Now it's the app view which is launching from index.html. This app view has container and that container has these sub views. So ultimately everything is encapsulated inside app view. I'm talking this time the view, not the container. Everything is starting or initiating from app view. So your model object, remember this is a golden rule. If you miss this rule, it is going to affect you badly. The model object earlier we were setting at the application level. Now the model object must be set at the app view level. This is your application actually. App view is the origination. It is Gangotri. Do you all know Gangotri? The origin of river Ganga, which is the origin. Now here in this case for your entire application, this is the origin. This is Gangotri for your application. That's the reason your model object must be set at the app view level. That's the difference which you will find between a typical application which we created in the past and an application which we're creating with a Fiori option. Okay, with Fiori, this is the way forward. So always set your object at the app level. So let's come back. In initiate model, what am I going to do is I will tell the system, hey, could you please go and set the object at the app level? Let's go and find out the ID of the app view. It's ID app. Sorry, that's not the ID of the app view. It's there in index.html and it's the ID is ID my XML. This is the ID of the app view. I'm talking about view, not the control. Again, I'm repeating, I'm talking about the view, not the control. Again, I'm repeating, I'm talking about the view, not the control. It's the app view which I'm talking about. That's the ID of app view. So now let's go to base controller and say, hey, var, can you give me app view object SAP UI get core dot by ID. Please give me the app view object. I've got my app view object and now I'm going to set the model object to that. So let's create a model object. I'm going to use our models dependency dot initiate. What was the method? I mean, just go and check that up. It was create fruit model. That is the method which we will be calling here create fruit model, and then it will create a fruit model for us. And कुछ भी नहीं करना है, दोनों को मिलाना है. O app view dot set model and O model. As a result of that, again I repeat, as a result of that, since app view is the super parent of everybody. By default, this model is available all the children view. It acts like setting the model at app level. It acts like setting model at entire application level. This is what happens. This will act like setting the model at the entire application level. ऐसा act, ऐसा behavior करेगा ये. Clear everybody? I hope all of you are clear. Instead of setting the model at the application level, we are now setting the model at the app view level. The reason being app view is origination. It is originating from everything. Okay, this is the reason, guys. This is why we're setting. It will not work to set the model at the app level now anymore because origination is now app view, guys. With Fiori structure, with Fiori guidelines, this is the way forward to set the model. This is one important change in behavior and the style of coding which we have to do. Okay, you don't have to set it at the application level. We have to set it at the app level because app is origination. App view is origination of your all other views. That's why you set it at the parent level. Everybody else will get it. See guys, the moment our parents they get some money, they get some gifts, what do? खुद के पास थोड़ी रखते हैं, बच्चों को दे देते हैं. That's exactly happening here. This parent is getting a model object. It is going to give it to its children. इसके बच्चे कौन है? The view 1, view 2, they are all children of this parent. That's why we are setting the object. हम हमको किसी को चीज देना होता है, उसके उसके मम्मी पापा को दे देते हैं हम लोग, क्योंकि बच्चों को अपने आप दे देते हैं मम्मी पापा, right? So we are giving it to the parent, and parent will distribute to its children automatically. We don't have to worry. So never set, in this case, in case of Fiori, always set the model at the app level. Okay, app view level I'm saying. Okay, coming back, let's go ahead and test it. Why it's showing a red here? You see unexpected token. Acha, let's go and check why it's giving an unexpected token error here. Did I miss out something? Did I miss out something? Yeah, I got it. So that should be okay, right? Why it's giving me an error? This is how the base control should look like. Controller.extend, return the controller.extend, my controller name dot function curly braces. No, that doesn't matter. Let's go and check our last base controller in my MVC app. Controller.extend, the namespace, comma, curly braces, and these values. That's how we created, right? Do I have to put a comma here? No. It's giving me an error. And I can say demo function. I got it, guys. I got it. I think we have some issue with writing of code. So I can say demo. No, it's actually giving an error only. If it's giving an error, I got the reason. We should not add any function here, guys. That was the reason why it was not working. You shouldn't add a function over there. Okay, that was the reason. Now I see it looks beautiful, and that's my base controller. Time to inherit the base controller everywhere. That's our namespace. So from there we're gonna use it. Let's close everything. I don't want to keep anything open. Go to my view 1 and view 2 controller, and time to add the base controller here. So our namespace slash base controller, and now here this controller is not no more be the standard UI5 controller. It's gonna be the base controller which we are getting. Yeah, and let's remove this one. So too many changes we are doing. Be careful. It should have a negative impact because there are so many changes we are doing. Yeah, just be careful. It will work if you're doing things right. There's no way nobody can stop your output. Let's execute this app. And I think we've made a lot of changes, and see if at least the app is working as it was working earlier or not. Okay, let's see the state of the app. Let's refresh. And now let's see what happens. Oops, as expected, too many changes and there's some side effect. Console is your best friend. Let's go to console and check it out what's going on. So go to console and I find out some issues. Error loading OFT Fiori November base controller. I got the reason. Can anybody tell me the reason of why my base controller is not loading? Who will tell me? Who is watching sessions regularly and studying? Who is watching session regularly and studying? What is the reason my base controller object is not loaded? Anybody who will tell me? ये answer बता दो. Anyone? What is the reason? Anyone? Yes, Rajkaran has got the answer already. We have missed out. We have not put it correctly. You see here, the OFT Fury November is representing the web app folder. Under that, there is a controller folder. किधर है आपका controller folder? Where is it? Where is it? You're directly putting base controller name. Where is your controller? In the namespace, in the name, in the path, in the address. Your address is incorrect. Address is incorrect. Your address is incorrect. You have to have address correctly, guys. That's the correct address, controller. Let's do the same. Here also we have the same issue. I save this. Let's come back. And that's what it's telling. Base controller load nahi kar sakte. Address galat diya aapne. Yeah. Address was incorrect. Let's refresh now. And if everything goes smooth, you will see your app will load properly on the screen. Let's check it out. And voila, can you see it's loading the app? So these kind of mistakes are very often where you say file .js file cannot be loaded. 101% reason is your address was incorrect. Your address of the controller was incorrect, guys. Okay. So I have one of my student who was asking me yesterday, give me some complicated exercise. Let me do one thing, take a snapshot of this, and I'm gonna give it to him. So just add it. Let's see if he can find out or not. I'll mail him this exercise today, and let's see if he can fix this up or not with the path. Okay, let's come back. And now you see it's being loaded properly. What we got to do is we got to, let me just also do one thing. Take a screenshot. Yeah. Now it's time to load the data as part of the list control. Anybody, if I want to bring all the fruits as part of my list control, what do I do? Anyone? If I want to bring the fruits, all the fruits as part of my list item, what do I do? Anyone? What do I do? Yes, absolutely. We got to do data binding. Let's go back to the view one in which it's time to do the data binding. So come here, put items equals to double quotes slash fruits entity set, and below these items we are right now commenting out every item. Let me comment out every item. I'm just gonna keep display list item, and this display list item I am doing binding with the path. So here the binding is with the absolute path, and then we have to do the binding with relative path inside of that display list item. So slash fruits is an entity set as per the JSON. If you see the JSON slash fruits, so curly braces fruits slash fruit, that's the path for binding the the topmost node, the JSON, and inside that you have name, and maybe I will use type, name and type, name and type. So let's come here and do the binding here, name and type. So I have done the binding now. This is the absolute path which is going to get the data from the topmost node, and this is the relative path. The relative path from where the data will come up. Clear? So let's go ahead and see as a result of that. I come back and refresh my list. And once again, there is some problem. Let's press F12. Go to console and check what has gone wrong. And this is producing some syntax error. Watch out here. You see, XML cannot be loaded. Invalid XML. There is some bug which we introduced in XML. Because of that, system is creating a problem. I think I have left some, you see, half code I have uncommented, half code. This input list item half में uncomment किया है. That's the reason. Let me comment it properly. Yeah, now I think it's got commented here properly, this piece of code. That was the issue. Let me save this, come back and refresh the page. If the model is set properly to the app level, you will see the data will pop up automatically. Again, there is an error in the view. Let me check it. I'm going to remove this whole code for time being. So there's a display list item. It's all inside items. We have a list control. List is binded to the absolute path, and then there is a relative path binding. That's what exactly we are doing. Then the content is ending, page is ending. Perfect. That looks good. Let's refresh that again. And you see right now it's showing no data, which means the model which you created, and though the model is set at the app view level, that app view level model is not reflecting here. Okay. That app view model is not reflecting here. Point one. First of all, let me bring that code again, and I can keep that code uncommented state. Okay. Let me just do that. So this is commented code. Let me just come back and refresh. It's loading now. Now guys, the fruits model which you have set, the default model at the view level, the app view level is not working. Okay, it's not working. So look at here again. Let's debug the code where we are setting this model. Initiate models. I think I didn't even call the initiate models method. I didn't even call. I have to call this method to be able to work it, right? So we have to call the method. We didn't even call it. We got to call it, guys. Go back to the app controller. In the init method of app controller, let's call that method. That was the problem, guys. We didn't even call it. So we have to say this dot initiate models. And for this also the base controller should be there, right? So our namespace OFT Fiori November controller, base controller, and now we got this base controller as a parent class. And now in the init method, I'm calling that method to set the model at the app view level. That was the code which was missing. We have written the code to set the model, create the model and set the model. We have written this code, but we have not invoked it. Now I invoked it in the method of app controller init method. While initializing, please call this up for me. That's what I'm doing now. Let's come back, refresh the page, and voila! Congratulations, guys. You can see all the data like a mobile like app. Can you see how beautiful it looks? What an amazing example. All the data from the fruits JSON. Thank you, Srinivas, for bringing this JSON to us. And that's your data which you had put. If you remember every single line which you coded yesterday for creating this JSON, that's exactly the data. Looks very, very consistent. Looks like a mobile like app. You can see the beauty of it. That's your list control, guys. How beautiful it looks. Gives a mobile like experience. That's about creating a model and setting it at the list level. What an amazing control. Let's bring in some more functionality here. So I want to bring in a search field. So let me add a search field in the view. So our first view, we got to get a search field. So go back to the first view, and just above the list control, I'm going to add a search field. Gonna name this as ID search. And let's also put here an action, search action, and we will just say on search. And now on search, I'm going to write a piece of code to search the data in the list control. So on search, here we're going to write some piece of code. So what is the mechanism to search and filter out the data from the list? So somebody come here, and what user got to do here? User got to write some data here. So user say lemon, and click on search button. It should only left the system with lemon. If I search for let's say maybe some fruit at the bottom, I say papayas, and I just say papa. Okay, I don't say papaya completely, I say papa. So it should also do the search, right, guys? Even though you do a typo or you write incomplete word, system should do the search. It should find out all the fruits which has papaya inside. So it should find papaya actually, because papaya is there inside papaya. You can see this part of the papaya is actually papa. Okay, clear everybody? This part of this is Papa. So we have to use filter, something called a filter object in SAP UI5, and it has to be so smart that it should also look at the pattern. It should also search based on contains. If your fruit name and our fruit name contains Papa, contains the search string, whichever you user has typed in. This was your search string. So if the search string is contained into the fruit name, then it should find it. So there are two things here. One is operand and one is operator. So two operands and one operator. What will be the operator between operands? Anybody? What will be the operand which you should use to do a search? It should be contains. It should be like search. Absolutely. Like in where clause, we use like kind of search. Contains string, right? Similarly in UI5 now, here we have to use contains operator. Okay. So we have to do a filter. What do we want to filter here? Anybody? What is that we are filtering here? When user click on search button, what is that you're filtering? Anybody? You are filtering items. You are filtering items. These are all list items, guys. So you got to filter all these items. ये सब filter करना है हमको. So when user type a search field, some data, we have to apply a filter on items binding. Items is a binding for the list control, and then we have to say wherever name of the fruit contains what? Contains this search string, whatever user type in that search string. Please filter those items, and that filter we have to push it back to the items. As a result of that, system will display us only the items which we are looking for. So let's come back and test it. How to write this code? It's very easy. Let's put the dependencies on the top first on the standard UI5. First is SAP UI model filter class. To create a filter object, everything is an object. Remember the funda folks? Everything is an object. And there is another one called SAP UI model filter operator. And I'm just gonna use here filter class, filter operator. And let's go ahead and use this up. So first create a filter object. So now on search, there has to be an event. And I'll say, hey, can you please tell me what user search for? So you're going to get that from the event object. I can say search string equals to event dot get parameter query parameter. So query is the parameter name, guys. Query is actually the parameter name which we are passing and saying, hey, give me this parameter, please. That's the parameter which is your search string. Let's create an object of filter object. New filter dependency which we created on the top. And now in this filter object which you created, you got to pass three arguments. Operand, your operand number 1, comma operator, and comma operand number 2. Clear everybody? Three arguments you have to pass in this filter when you're creating a filter object. Operand 1, operand operator, and operand 2. So operand 1, I'm saying, hey, can you please look for name? Okay. Why name? Go to fruits JSON. Look at here. What is the property name you want to search in JSON? What is the property name you want to search in JSON? You want to search name, right? You want to search fruit by name. That's the property name. Name is the property name. ये case sensitive है. So be careful. So name, small name, you have to put exactly same small name here. That's your first operand. The second operand is the search string. I am looking for fruit name matching with search string. And what should be the operator here, guys? Anyone? What should be the operator here? Should I put equals to operator here? Anyone? Which operator you should put? You should put contains operator. Perfect answer, because it should be a pattern search. It should not be a hard-coded search. Filter operator dot contains. Is that clear, everybody? Now, many of you are confused and about how do you know that filter operator has this contains thing? No problem. Go back to UI5 SDK, check for the API reference, search here filter operator. There you go, filter operator in model class, and you see all, any, between, contains. Can you see filter operator contains, ends with, equals to, greater than, greater than, less than equals to, less than. All these are operators, sorry, to do the searching. Are you clear, guys? While creating the filter, we can use filter operator as an operator to be able to identify what type of search it is. Okay. So I didn't use EQ equals to, I didn't use, I use contains, because our requirement is to find out a pattern search in the fruit name. That was our requirement. That is the main reason I have not used the equals to operator. Otherwise, it would have been an exact search. Since you want a pattern search, you need writing, you when you search, you don't have the exact full thing. You just write a keyword. So it's like a keyword search which we want to do. And now once the filter object is created, it's time to insert this filter object in an array. So it's an array which you have to create. Always it's an array. When you're sending the filter to the list item binding, it's always accept an array. That's why I've created this array. This array has right now only one item. And now it's time to get the object of the list control. So var o list, and I can say this dot get view dot by id. We're gonna get the list, and now I'm just gonna give the id for the list id. Oops. That's my id of the list control. I'm just gonna get the list control. And now watch out, guys. We gotta say list dot get binding. Binding of what? Items dot filter. Please get the binding of items. उसमें एक filter लगा दीजिए. That's what I'm saying. I want to filter items of the list control. So I say olist dot binding of items, and then apply a filter, please. And that's my array of filter I'm gonna pump in, and we are done. Are you guys clear what has been finished here? So we got the parameter, we have got the filter object, we are passing the filter object into the array, and then we got the list control, and what we want to filter, we want to filter items of the list control, and we just say filter array of filter we are passing to it. Is this clear to everybody, all the steps here? Step by step, line by line, every single line of code. क्या सर्च करना है, कहाँ सर्च करना है, कैसे सर्च करना है, and when to apply the search, all that is written here in this example. This is how the standard is. This is the way to code a filter. Let's come back and see the magic. Refresh here. And now I again type Papa. What do you think it should get me? Anybody? What do you think when I write Papa and I search for it? What is that I'm going to get as a result? Anyone? What do you think I'm going to get as a result? You're going to get papaya, should be filtered out, and voila. Can you see what an amazing stuff here? That's what SAP Fiori list search is, guys. It has filtered out all the items which has papa inside the fruit name. Are you guys clear? What is that we're doing here? If I just say A double P, it should filter apple and pineapple. I don't have a pineapple actually. Otherwise, it would have returned me pineapple also. Okay. Maybe just quickly create in our fruit JSON a pineapple entry for pineapple. Just gonna create that. So copy it and just create another entry here for pineapple. And let's come back and test it. Let's come back and refresh. We have a pineapple also, and I'm just say A double P and search. You can see it's searching both pineapple and apple. Is that clear, everybody? What exactly, how does the search is working? You can do half thing actually. You can say AN, and you see all the fruits which contains AN inside. They all has AN inside. It's finding it up, all the fruits. That's the power of list search. That's the power of list search, guys. How can we apply list search? Now, guys, what I want also, I say alkaline. I want also fruit to be searched based on the type. Okay. I want my fruits should be searched based on type alkaline. If I type alkaline, it should also get me the fruits. All the fruits which are of type alkaline, it should get me. So alkaline is stored actually here in the type property, but we didn't filter based on type property. We can apply multiple filters actually. It is possible to apply multiple filters. Yeah. Now there is a catch here. Watch out. In the JSON, Srinivas has done a blunder. He has put a space here. Now this is going to create a big problem for you because some places it has a space, sometimes it doesn't have it. It is an inconsistent JSON actually. This will create a big problem for you. Be careful for such small mistakes. They are going to hamper you big time. Yeah. So let's quickly do this fix up here. Wherever there's a space, I'm going to remove and replace it without space. Okay. That's what I'm just quickly doing. Because it's going to hamper our functionality going forward. Yeah, I save this. So we're going to use also the type property to be able to filter the data. So let's come back to the controller. Another filter object I'm creating. I'll say what filter equals to new. Any guess, anybody? What I'm going to use now, my first operator here? Anyone? What am I going to use as my first operator here? It should be type. Perfect answer, Uday sir. That's exactly the right answer. It's the type property this time. Once again, operand will be same contains, and second operator is also because there's only one search field on the screen. That is a search field I want to consider, and we are done. That's another object O filter one. Let's say we have created another filter object. Now I'm gonna push this filter object in the same array. Are you guys clear? Why it's an array? Because you can add multiple filters together. Are you clear? How we created another filter on the type property and pushing it here. Are you guys clear with this approach? How to add another filter? Easy. And now it should also filter based on type. But guess what? What do you think? Will it be an or between filter or operator, or will it be an and operator between the filters? What the system will consider? Is both the condition must satisfy to filter, or is only one condition also satisfy with the filter? It is going to get result. What do you think the default behavior of this and or between two filters? The default behavior is and, it's not or. What will happen? The system will check wherever both the condition must satisfy, then only it is going to give you the data. Watch out, this is a big disadvantage. Come back, and if I say alkaline, ALK, it is not getting me. Why? Because there is no fruit which has ALK inside. Okay, let me add a fruit which has ALK inside and also the type as alkaline. Let me do that. So I'm just going to go here and I'm going to insert a name, alkal LK Zona. Just some fruit, some random name I'm putting Alcazona. And you see it has ALK and this fruit name and type both has ALK now. Okay. Come back and search. It's only going to do an AND. When both the conditions satisfy, then only it will get you results. See, this also has ALK, name also has ALK, and this also has ALK. Is this what user expect? Think about from user point of view. Is this what user expect? No, user expecting an or. या तो ये मैच हो जाए या ये मैच हो जाए. Either this should match or this should match. Any one of this is matching, please get me the fruit. Correct, guys? If any one of this is matching, please get me the fruit. Correct, guys? If even if you say APP, it won't get because now it's checking the name it's matching, but there is no type. There is no type with APP inside. So it's by default an AND operator. How can we turn this to an OR operator? How can we do that? It's very easy. Very easy. You got to go back, create another filter object. new filter object, and inside this filter object put an array called filters and pass both the filters inside that array. And now put here another property and equals to false. When and is false, automatically it becomes or, and put this main filter in the main array. That is the change, guys, which we have done. We've got another filter object, and in this filter object, I'm saying to the filter, hey filter, can you please add two filters for me with an and operator false, and then pass this main filter to the array of filter as a result. When you do that, boom, you're gonna get now an or behavior for the filter. Let's come back, refresh. Earlier APP was not giving any result. Now search for APP, and now you see, even though APP is not there here, it's getting you the fruit. Now I search for ALK, you're gonna get lots of fruit. You see, all are alkaline. It's filtering based on alkaline. See here, all alkaline fruits are coming. Yeah, yeah, all alkaline fruits are coming. See here, all alkaline are coming. Citrus, you see, there is only one fruit citrus category, which is also coming. Is that clear, everybody? What exactly is happening here? Are you all clear? What exactly, how the filter is working? No, we cannot enter or equals to true. So there is a question in the chat window that can we enter or equals to true? There is no operator called or equals to true. There is always an and operator. If and is false, it's by default or. If and is true, which is by default and is true, it's behaving like a and true. Okay. You can't pass also this main filter directly to binding. You have to always pass an array to the binding. That's the default syntax how UI5 is working on. This is a very important functionality in every company. Companies will ask you to implement such filters on the list control. Always companies will ask you this actually. Okay. So that's about the filter. Now let's move on. What else can we do? So I want now a navigation button at end of every line item. Okay. I want, is there any limit on filters? There is no limit on filters. You can pass as many filters as you wish, but recommendation is to pass limited number of filters because you would of course confuse the user if you have too many filters. Okay. There is a question about sorting also from Srinivas. Can we do sorting in an ascending, descending order? Yes, why not? Let's go back to the view. And here you see there is a binding which we have done. And I want to say when the binding is done, can you please sort the data for me? So I can just come here and now say path. And now I can add something called sorter. And then we have to say on what basis you want to sort the data. So that's called sorter object. You can also pass this object dynamically. We can do that. I'll show you it in a minute. And now I forgot the syntax. So I have to go to UI5 SDK and or maybe Google, and I'll say sort SAP UI list. Check it out. And now I can come inside these group discussions, and there will be some place where they must have shown how we can sort the data. So here they're showing dynamically sorting. Let me just come here and list. Yeah, sorting grouping in the list binding you see here. And now you can add a sorter and you can put a path for sorting, and you can say what type of sorting, is it descending or ascending? You can give that. Yeah. So sorting on what path, what property, and do you want to give a descending or ascending? That you can give. Descending false means by default it's ascending. So path, country. So sorter. On what name, what basis you want to sort? I want to sort based on name of the fruits. Let's put that up here. Watch out now. You see L was coming on the top, O was coming on the top. Now it's going to filter. A will come on the top. You can say Alcazona, apple, avocado, banana, ABC. It's a sorted your fruits in a sorting order. That's the beauty of UI5 SDK. You want to do grouping also, you can do that. There is another property, just now I saw it there, grouper. Okay. And now I can say I can pass a group based on what you want to group. Okay. You can pass the group property. So I can say I want a group based on type of the fruit. Yeah. Watch out now. Come back and refresh. And now, oops, it's not grouping actually. There's something wrong. I have to check it. I have to group the data. So to group it. So this is how they grouped it, like, you see this grouping. So how can we group it? No, dot means it's calling a function actually. Okay. They are using something called factory function. I'm going to tell about factory function little later. Okay. So there's something called get country. They are calling a function, and here they are returning a o-context.get property country, county or something, whatever. So let's come back and check. Ideally, it should work. Group based on type. Just check that. You see, filters can also be passed like this, guys. They are hard coding the filters here in the binding itself. We have created it via coding. They are hard coding the filter like this. You can do that also. So everything can be done via coding also, and everything can also be done via another option. So sorter. Yes, group is always a function, guys. It's always a function, so we have to write a function. So you can see here also it's writing a function for the group. That's what they're doing actually. Ideally, it should also would have been possible. Not sure. Ideally, it should have been possible. Grouping also should have been possible with the model itself. Let me check it. SAP list grouping. Yeah, it was there, but that they were using by function. I don't want to use make it complicated for you. I want to use it simple for you because that function is. I don't want to do use function for the grouping actually. Okay, I don't want to do function. So you see here sorter, and we have sorter group equals to true. We just have to put group equals to true, guys. That's it. So now I'll just have to put here the property as type, and I say group equals to true. And now it's gonna group all the fruits. So let's come back, refresh, and now you see it has grouped it. There is an acidic fruits. These are all acidic. These are all alkaline fruits. You can see it has grouped the data. Citrus, sweet. Yeah, that's about adding grouping. So there's a lot you can do. It's all different things, different stuff which you can do it actually. It won't be too much, yeah. It's very easy to group the data. It won't take much of effort. So you see it has grouped the data now. Cool. That's about grouping, sorting, searching, all the things which you saw in the list. Now it's time to give you an exercise. The exercise for all of you is, by far we have created the items in the list using display list item. Okay. What is the exercise? Convert all the display list item to object list item. In display, the, the fruit name, its type, its picture, price, and unit in a list item. Obviously, that is done and possible via object list item. You can do that. Okay. Also, guys, now we have the JSON. I would request all of you insert another property inside JSON for every fruit as Availability. It should be the property name you should insert. Okay. Insert a new property in every JSON, every item of the fruit as availability. The value must be one or below. Either the fruit is available, it is out of stock, or it's discontinued. That should be one of the status. आप अपने हिसाब से सेट कर लीजिएगा. Set the status based on your own thing, own requirement. But I want this enhanced JSON, and I want you to convert this list to a object list item. It should display a lot of properties. Currently, it's a display list item. In the next session, we'll talk about navigation with the list control. We'll talk about object header, and we'll also talk about what is a Fiori work list kind of application. Okay, what is Fiori work list application? What is Fiori master detail application? We'll also talk about list modes. A very important topic, list modes. We're going to discuss that also if time permits in the next session. Any questions before we close today's class? Anyone? Your lines are open. You can always unmute and ask your question on the lines as well. Any questions? Cool. Then let's see. Complete this exercise. I will share the project right after the class, including the PPT. So PPT and project comes to you right after the class. Recording takes some time because I have to convert the recording to MP4 format so that you can play it, right? So that takes time, but other things comes to you right away, right after the batch, right after the class. Okay, that's it for the day. Thank you so much. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.